Don't nobody know what's going on. We only know what what is. We don't know. I just think that shit is a distraction within itself. You
All
know what I
right,
mean?
so we live. So I'm gonna keep it real. I think like I'm tripping, and this is black folks seem to be more in line with Puffy being guilty than motherfucking Donald Trump. Like we don't stick together for shit. You know what I'm saying? Like immediately, as soon as bro went, you know what I'm saying. As soon as the shit happened, everybody just assumed me guilty. Like I don't know what the fuck he did because I don't be following social media like that. But it was just wild to me that the moment the feds raided bro shit, everybody's like he did it. Like I don't follow him a lot, right? So I don't know what he did. But I tell you what, instead of going down that route, let's focus on this what'd you call it, the Helen Keller complex.
Yeah, the Helen Keller complex. I think that we culturally have this thing where we have crippled and enabled our children, and then we play crazy like we don't see it or hear it, or like we don't know what's going on.
Give me an example, right? Because I want to make sure that I can put this in context to understand exactly what you mean.
So an example would be how how we have a lot of um, so-called single mothers, right?
Right,
And,
right.
and there's a lot of context to how to the claims of being a single mother, but overall, women in this culture tend to take ownership of children, and especially when you're not together, you're not on the same frequency with the father, right?
Right, right,
And
right.
then they will cripple and enable that their sons emotionally, in a lot of different ways. But then when that manifests, then I've seen a lot of them play victim as if they just like they didn't play a role in that.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. So it's interesting you say that because just yesterday, I think I was having a conversation with somebody just on Facebook or whatever, and
Mhm.
they were saying um, how women raising these sons is not. They're literally raising the men they don't like, right? And what they meant by that was the type of dudes that are out here that their women are complaining about are the same type of dudes that they're creating raising their sons. Now, we can have a disagreement about who's at fault for that, but me personally, I don't believe a woman can raise a man. There are always going to be exceptions, right? But the common rule is it's most likely impossible because as a woman, it's natural to be nurturing, to be loving, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
the woman's role.
what are the exceptions? Explain. Give me
There
a.
might be what I mean by exception is somebody probably was able to raise a good young man as a mom, single mom.
Maybe a
I,
good person. You raised a good person.
I'm
Um,
sure somewhere in the grand scheme of things, at least one woman did it, right? I'll
no,
get that
I don't
exception.
think. I don't. Not if you don't think it's possible.
I think it's unlikely. Let me rephrase it that way. I
I
think it's
think it's
highly
impossible.
unlikely.
I think it's
And
impossible.
oh, so I can roll with that. Oh, so scratch the one chick, right? We'll
I'm
just say
I'm
scratch it.
saying I'm saying via our anatomies. It's a reason why we are like just based on the logic of natural order, right?
Right, right.
If that was possible, then it would really not be a reason for it to require a man to get a woman pregnant. If it were possible for a woman to raise a man, and even the same thing as if it were possible for a man to raise a woman, I don't
Okay.
believe it's
She can
possible.
raise a decent person. I'll give you that, right?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
all raise decent human beings, but there are certain um, skills that are specific to
Absolutely.
so-called manhood and womanhood. You know what I mean? Like I do not. I, look, I believe I'm him. You know what I mean? I think I can anything I can think I can figure it out, right?
Right, right.
But I have to acknowledge the what is beyond me. I did not create um, gender biology, right?
Right. That's some shit
So
you can't
I
control.
am, and I know I'm thankful for my position in the universe, right? I do not want to be a woman by no means. They're just the concept of carrying a child is beyond what I can fathom, right?
Bro, I'm watching it right now, and
Right. Yeah. So it's it in so for me, I know that I do not qualify to be able to usher a woman into womanhood.
a
I can
good
be a
person.
single parent, I can raise a good person, but what I would have to do is align my daughters with quality women that have this specific set of skills and tools, what we would label as the essence of a woman, right? The
Right, right.
essence, like it's I'm attracted to it. So how can I facilitate it? I'm
No,
attracted to
I'm
it.
with you, right?
You know?
And so let me clarify, right? I'll go back to saying it's not possible, right? I'll take my exception back. But we were having that conversation because I'm like, women provide a specific set of roles and rules when it comes to the upbringing of a child, and that's necessary as fuck,
Yeah,
right? But it is different
absolutely,
than what a man brings, right?
absolutely, 100%.
A woman cannot get out of her womanhood, right? No matter how masculine she might pretend to be or how masculine she might be in reality, the natural nurturing part is necessary, right? They have to do that because that's who they are. And men, we're more logical. We're more what's what I'm looking for? Discipline based,
Hmm.
right? As I was saying previously on one of the conversations, like, hey, don't make me tell your dad is serious shit,
Yeah,
right? No
yeah,
matter, like, we would act up. And I was telling this to my wife the other day. I'm like, man, I'm gonna act up. If my mom said, "Don't make me tell your dad," that shit stop, right?
right,
Not that I play with my mom, but I'm like, listen, if he's not coming for no bullshit,
right. And you know
right?
what that is? That's the man's ability to think outside of, of emotion. You know,
Right, right.
not we, because when women don't do that, it typically results in abuse
No
when they
doubt.
don't, and they because women naturally have this level of compassion. You know, because if they think within their emotion like they're programmed to do. I can come in and I can remove that emotion from me and discipline my son on any level or my child on any level, and it just has nothing to do with the emotion of it. It's literally
It's
about
right or wrong.
the structure and the discipline of it is
Right.
actually a form of protection.
Right, right, right. So I'm glad you said that because that was something that, again, in my situation, right, in an interracial relationship is different, right? I had to explain to my wife, our kids don't have the luxury acting up like you might see some little white kids do, right? And that's not a knock on them. I'm saying we get looked at differently, so I have to be more controlling of the shit they do. Like, if my kids act up as teenage, my son specifically as teenagers, police see him different, right? My son's a big dude, right? So what I used to have to explain to him as he was younger, like, listen, I know you run with everybody, and that's cool. You have friends of all walks of life,
Mhm.
but understand if the police get involved, you have to behave different. Because my belief, my experience, not my belief, my experience as black men, we look like 6 foot spiders to police officers. They scared of fucking death, right? Upon walking up. And having size on you does not help, right? So I think as a father, we do have to provide the logical shit, right? And the interracial shit makes a difference because my wife was not raised in a manner where her behavior was going to be judged differently than the next person that did the same thing. Um, but I think you're right. We do our children a disservice by pretending that the shit they do ain't wrong, right? Like, it's we do raise our not everybody, right? Let me lay that on the table because somebody gonna be like, oh man, But there's shit we do different. And I'm out the loop, right? I'm not a social media dude like that. There's a photo going around. Women are sharing. I guess it was a kid taking a school photo. I thought the little dude was faking a shoot up, like he was shooting up. But
I
somebody was
saw
like,
that.
it came from
I saw that.
right. I don't know where it came from. So when my guy sent it to me, I'm gonna look at my phone real quick because I want to make sure I ain't lying. When my guy sent it to me and asked me about it, I'm like, bro, is he faking the shoot up or what is he doing? He was like, nah, it's some rap shit or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, rap culture
Um,
for sure.
like, so I missed that because that's not. I'm not hip to it, right? I'm old, bro. I don't fuck with today's rap culture
Why do you keep saying you old?
because 48 is not young, bro. Right? I'm gonna keep it real. Young is some 20 shit.
I mean, as compared to what? It's all about perspective.
It's not perspective. When I get up in the motherfucking morning, my body remind me I'm not a young man.
No, you're not a newborn baby. What I'm
I'm
saying
not.
is that so you think that you're old
Here's why
for
I
an
say that.
80-year-old person.
Here they call me young man, right? Here's why I say.
Exactly.
Here's why I say I'm old. I have lived longer than I will live. Right? That's how I look at it. I'm 48. I'm probably gonna make it to 96. I'm okay with that. Right? So that's my basis of judgment. But okay, I'll take that away for a second. But looking at what's going on, I'm like, because I didn't get it. I saw this shit floating around. My mama would have whooped my ass if I did some shit like that. And then my daddy would have whooped my ass too. Right? To ruin your school pictures that we gotta pay for on top of that. But I was lost because I'm like, man, why I saw it all day long and I seen somebody post. I couldn't even stay mad. that long because this is funny as fuck. Right? There was a woman, and I'm just lost. I'm like, to me, I thought little
That's
homie
what I
was
mean.
was
That's
shooting
what I
up.
mean when I say
That's
now
crazy.
we so blind. We act like we can't see what's happening. This is a problem. And then when you try to speak the truth, nobody wants to hear it. That's
So
why I call it the Helen Keller complex.
so what do we like? What do we do, bro? Like, how do we handle this? Right? And the chick that I'm gonna keep it real, the chick that I saw posted that my guy sent me, she 40, single mom. I'm talking 40 single mom infant, right? Multiple baby daddies, multiple failed relationships. So I'm not really tripping. Like, I'm not surprised, but I will say, going down your belief that, or going down the road of us not holding people accountable and being responsible. When she got when this chick got pregnant by a dude she was not with, and she posted it, everybody's congratulating her. Like, I don't congratulate you on no bullshit, right? But I get looked at. Oh, you think you better than? Well, sometimes I am. Right? I'm gonna keep it real. My guy put me on to the better. Uh, but I don't congratulate people for bullshit,
Man,
especially not bullshit that's detrimental. Right? This particular chick got multiple baby daddies, and I'm
when
gonna
you
keep it
say
real.
multiple, what's multiple to you?
Multiple, three to my knowledge, possibly four. But it wasn't even me and this chick was cool, right? But one of her dudes had beat her up, right? I don't do the domestic shit.
Mm.
And one night, a bunch of us are out, and she comes into the little restaurant, IHOP. It's a good 15 of us at the table. She show up with the shiner and the dude that delivered it,
You
right? So I'm
showed up
talking
with
cash
the
shit to
shiner.
dude.
Oh, you talking? You knew it was him, and you talking?
I was no question about it. We all knew it was him.
Why though?
Why he do it or why she show up with him?
No, why are you talking crazy to him?
Because I no matter listen, just because you okay with it don't mean I'm okay with it. I'm not. You don't get no respect from me from punching a woman, right? Especially one that like bro, that's your baby. Like
I understand like not rocking with it, not you know what I mean. I'm
you at my table, bro. I gotta let you know I don't fuck with that, right? If you were somebody else, like if it was at a table and it wasn't my people at the table, I wouldn't give a shit. But you at the table where I'm at,
but
so I'm
she's
not
the
gonna sit
one
here and
out of
pretend,
line.
huh?
She's the one out of line.
Well, see, I'm of a yes. She was foolish.
I'm saying she's showing her like she made it okay for him to think it. You know, she laid that she just laid out the carpet for him. She opened up that
Well,
door.
and that's what I said. I'm like, how you here with this motherfucker that punch you in the face?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right? Oh, don't do that. Don't that's the guy. Don't do that. I'm like, bro, I can't pretend your shit ain't bright. Right?
Man,
Your shit swole. And I'm just like, it was weird to me. But anyway, so the person that posted it I don't got a lot of respect for it just because the situation is questionable. But I've been seeing that go around,
it's
and I
not
was
just
lost.
people. It's not that's she just the extreme. But I'm telling you, like even the so-called esteemed black people, the ones who live decent, what we would what we would call successful lives as compared to what a lot of us come from. These people perpetuate the same energy. I mean, more so than that's why I had to check myself on being critical of a certain aspect, a certain portion of our culture, because it's easy to think it's just the ones I would say that's they're just blatantly absorbed in hood culture. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to come from it, right? But to just stay there, it's a portion of people that just they stay there and they're comfortable there,
You
and
know,
that's fine, right? But I'm saying that the ones
that's
that
not fine, bro. Okay, let's be
if
honest.
that's what you want for your life, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like it has
Okay,
to be. It has to be. I'm saying it's not my lane, but it has to be. And
but
the
is
reason
that
why
any
I say
different than us justifying the other bullshit?
no,
Because
it's not my place to justify it or not. What I'm saying is that I can never, and I had to learn this. I can never be too judgmental of something that I come from that I know it still exists within me. And I'm saying, no matter how, like where you at in life, right? You've worked hard. You've warped into the best version of yourself, right, or a better version of yourself. Raise a family and everything, right? But you and I both know it only takes a certain set of circumstances that will trigger what's already in you.
hundred
Right?
percent,
So it's likely that you just stay away from it.
100%. I avoid it at all
And that's,
costs.
that's the, and that's the reason why I cannot judge the people who just stay comfortable there. That's what they choose for their lives. Now that doesn't negate the behaviors that they perpetuate.
That's
But
what I'm talking about is
no,
the
but
behavior, right?
but it's no different than the ones there are so-called scholars that also participate in these same behaviors when it's convenient for them. They do it. That's why I'm saying, like, I had to step back, like, man, like, I, which one is more influential? The one where, if you got this cliche, I'm gonna take a cliche way of explaining this. The guy that stayed in the hood never left the hood, right? You know what I mean? If he is perpetuating certain behaviors, uh, that's one thing. But if you got a generation watching you and you came from that, and now you over here and you're so-called esteemed now, but you still perpetuate these same behaviors when it's convenient, I think that's
Give
the
me an
one.
example. Who you talking? Like, give me an example because I think we pay more attention to the cats in the hood than we do the cats that made it out. That's my belief, right? It unless like we just pay more attention. It doesn't matter if and maybe I'm misunderstanding. So, but we give more respect, unfortunately, to the dude who fresh out the joint than we do fresh out of college. We give more respect to the dude who balling than we do to the dude who balling in business.
Right, because these dudes that are balling in business or so-called made it out, they also participate in and perpetuate the same energy. They like to just say and they'll pass it off as it's just entertainment. It's just entertainment. I see it
Okay,
all the time. I've had several conversations and debates with individuals who's it's just art, it's just entertainment, and it's like absolutely not. Like how can you? But that's that complex. You act like you playing
but
crazy.
isn't it really just entertainment? We just
No,
take that shit as reality.
no, it's not. It's not. That's not what rap was built on. Rap was
Okay,
built, like I think I explained this before. Um, Hollywood was always presented as a form of art, and it's fictional. It's built on the premise of fiction. Just fiction, and even when they do, it's dramatization, things like that. But rap was built on the premise of it was a reflection of the lives of
right.
the
Reflection
lives
of
of
society for the folks that's
exactly
doing it.
right. So and it's supposed to be a level of authenticity in it. But
But then we lose that a long time ago, bro.
new generations coming in don't understand that. Not when you
Okay,
why is it that even those of us have who live that life of being sold a dream that it's possible that you're going to play professional sports, right? And we over the last 30 or 40 years, if we looked at the numbers of those who actually did get there, I mean, it would be obvious that that is not the
right.
sensible route to kind of nurture your children into, right? But we
100%.
still do it when we know that it's 100% chance that if you nurture a child in the areas of in academics, and they're going to for let's say being an architect, an engineer, or a scientist, right? They are if 100%. If you nurture them correctly in those paths, they will be successful. They'll find some level of success in those respective areas. We still will not celebrate that. We still will not honor what's obvious. We act like we don't see the stats.
I mean, well, why? That's the part of that's where I'm lost, right? Like we know right from wrong. There's no misunderstanding about that.
Mhm.
We know right from wrong, yet why are we pretending we don't? That's where I get lost, bro.
It's a complex. That's what I'm saying. It's a complex.
But we know it, right? Like I go back to the street shit, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh man, people don't know me, but we ran from the police, right? I don't care how dumb you were. You were smart enough to know if the police show up, you got to run when you was doing dumb shit. So I don't get it, bro. You know what? It's crazy, and this is off topic a little bit, but I've been watching this bait car shit. Right? I don't know if you ever check that shit out.
What is it?
Bait car, right? The police. It's in high crime areas where people steal a lot of cars. They pull up, and the car's got cameras on it. It's got GPS, and it's got ability to kill the shit. They pull up
Okay.
in the hood. That's mostly where they do it at, right? And they jump out the car. It's usually two cars. One pull up and another pull up behind them. They jump out. Two people start arguing. They jump into one car and dip and leave the other one running with the door open. Every motherfucking time somebody jump in that bitch and dip. And I'm just like, man, what? That shit don't make no sense to me. Common sense.
Man,
tells.
that's almost unfair though.
So I struggle with that at first. I'm like, this is a setup, right?
Yeah.
I felt like it was entrapment, but nobody made him get in it, right? And so that,
Yeah.
right, it's dirty, right? It is
That's a
dirty because I'm
dirty
like,
move.
it's a dirty move, but they do it in high crime, areas where car theft is super high. But I thought to myself, I'm like, at first I was shitty, right? I was super shitty, like they playing with people. But I
Right.
thought to myself, bro, why are we still fall to the point where it's pretty common when you watch the videos for cats like, oh, I knew this was a bait car, right? Like, damn, bro, you had you had an idea that was some bullshit, but you still fell for it. So where I struggle is we know traps, we know the traps. Shit, we even call the shit the trap. Oh man, I'm out here trapping. Like, bro, we know it's a trap and we still keep doing it. Like that shit don't make no sense to me. That's where I struggle. Like,
because because we're infatuated with that's why okay. So I know we're not gonna go down this road.
fuck it, we can go.
Right, but I'm saying that's the reason why I don't I'm not I don't even entertain the whole puffy conversation, right? Because I don't give a damn about these dudes, honestly,
Right.
because these dudes are part of that boule group that sold us out. They continue to sell us out. You know what I mean? And like they are more responsible for it than any other group of people. I don't care what nobody say.
Okay, I
Like
can roll with that.
like these people who they're in a space where it's they see life a whole different way. They know what the reality of this shit is, but they continue to distract us. Like they lead us through. They bait us into the Roman circus.
Okay.
Right? Like it's no way that these people do not have the resources or the the expertise, the experience, wisdom, whatever you want to call it, the tools to facilitate cultural evolution for us. And they will not do it. And I think that is on purpose. I think that they receive scripts. I think they just be on scripts.
I mean, we're still for sale, bro. That's not a. I don't disagree with you. We have we have always been for sale. We just changed how much the cost was to buy us. You can take whether it's a brother killing Malcolm X, we for sale, bro. Like, and
Yes,
that's where I struggle
we are
because
for sale.
I'm
Yes.
you can't buy me, right? And I had this discussion with one of my homies. He's like, "Oh man, for the right price, everybody do anything." I'm like, "Nah, bro," because you know what? For me personally, I have to live with me, right? I have to look at my children and say, "Damn, I did that for a few bucks." They can't respect me if I'm for sale. But a
Yeah.
lot of us are for sale, bro. And what I mean by that, I don't mean like, you know what I'm saying, you go out and just buy a cat. But if you pay the
No,
right
I know
cat,
what you mean. I know
they'll
what
do some
you mean.
stupid shit that will absolutely hurt. And I'm guilty of dumb shit.
Yeah,
And so
no.
I won't say I was never for sale because I ran the streets and I sold poison to my own people, right? And
Yeah.
at that point, I think I could say I was available, right? I was available for sale at that point.
And
But
ignorance is bliss. I mean
right,
that's
I learned and I got smart,
right.
and even in my street days, I still had some stupid ass rules. Women and kids was off limit,
But I bet you had a conscience still.
100%. Women and kids were off limits,
So
right?
yeah, I
But
bet you felt like
I
you
still participated in the fuckery, um, and
so did
that's.
I. That's
I
you
mean,
know
we all
that's
did, right? Let's just keep it real. We all did, right? I mean, not all, but a lot of us,
yeah
right?
yeah.
Um, but it's the reality, bro, of like not thinking about the consequences. And this is how serious this shit is. And I didn't realize this as a young man, right? And I'm gonna say some shit I haven't said before. There, you know, I work in the technology field. I remember applying. I got an email from somebody, and they was like, "Hey, we got an opportunity for you. Stupid pay, working for the government." I'm like, "That's questionable, right?" But I'm like, "All right." It was actually working in the technology field, the DEA. I'm like, "Man, let me see. I'm gonna give it this." The money was so stupid, I had no choice. I applied for this position. They did whatever fucking checks they did, bro. And I bullshit you not, my wife will co-sign on it. The lady, I did a little interview, did everything. She's like, man, you look amazing. Let's run this. Let me just do this background check. Mind you, I have no criminal cases, no criminal charges. I've never been arrested, none of that shit. Bro, when I met back with the chick, she was like, why would you waste my time? That's her exact words to me. Why would you waste my time like that? I'm like, what do you mean? She said, you know exactly what I mean. And she didn't go into no details. They keep a history of us, bro. All the dumb shit we've done in our life, right? It's a history of like knowing that shit and we still do dumb shit. Like that was a wake up call for me, right? I'm like, man, I'm labeled, right? I'm labeled no matter what for the rest of my life, bro. I did dumb shit in my youth, right? I remember doing some hood shit and police recorded us. And I didn't know at the time, but I found out because my guy mom worked for the police station at the time. And she came home snapping. She was like, y'all, well, we got in trouble. Let me just say it that way. I won't go into detail. But I mean, again, we know right from wrong. And eventually we should grow out of it. But we have, for some reason, that lifestyle, it excites us, right? I was having this conversation with one of my guys, and I'm like, man, you getting mad at women for chasing ballers, but I think we love them motherfuckers too. And what I mean by that is
Yeah.
we show them the same love that the chicks show them. Right? When a dude come home from the joint, everybody want to kick it with him. Everybody want to throw him a party. And I'm talking cats who ain't even in the street life. I got a homie. I I used to tell him, I'm like, bro, you hanging out at parties I won't hang out at. You ain't never broke a law in your goddamn life. But you want to be around the cool kids. I'm like, you gonna fuck around and catch a case because cats will look at you like, well, he a stand up dude. I'm gonna go ahead and blame this on him. Now you doing time because you know what I'm saying? Because somebody didn't respect your motherfucking situation. So I don't know, bro. I struggle. I'm trying to figure out why.
You said it already. We for sale. You know what I mean? Like I was having a conversation with my homegirl the other day, and I was like, we were talking about just we're talking about the family dynamics, broken home syndrome, basically. And I was just saying that, the question was, would you, if your wife was offered 150,000 at a job and you were offered 100,000, would you stay at home? And I was like,
Wait,
no.
what do you mean? I'm confused. You said she was offered 150, you were offered 100.
If my wife was offered $150,000 to work a job, and in another space, in my respective field, I can make 100,000.
That's 250.
But no, one of us. It had to be one of us. Either I'm gonna make a
Oh,
hundred
okay.
thousand, and she stay home, or she gonna make 150, and I'm gonna stay home. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna figure it out with this 100,000, because for me, if I did that, then I sold my wife to me. I sold her out of the home, where she is necessary to
Okay.
as far as a nurturer, for our children. And
Okay.
I'm like,
I don't know, bro. That's a tough hypothetical because I'm gonna look at
yeah,
myself as and say I could do something from home that's gonna earn big, and I got the opportunity,
now
right?
then your kids are then you sold your kids.
So that's the reality of America. Let's just and I want to
if
talk
we,
about that because
if
I'm
we
glad.
accept it, it's not the reality, because I know it's a lot of families that are homeschooling their kids. They're very hands on with their children. They don't turn their children over to the school system.
So that's an interesting piece there too because we're probably gonna disagree here. I think the public school system is necessary, and I think kids should be in it. And here's why: because homeschool kids never learn to deal with conflict. They don't learn conflict resolution. They don't learn disagree because everything is within their comfort zone.
You're looking at the
It's
wrong
family.
stats. It's the wrong stats. There are stats out there that say otherwise. Just do some research.
When I see people, and this is, and I'm not looking at stats. I'm gonna be honest. I'm looking at it from my perspective. When I see kids who have not been anywhere anything but homeschool, and they get into an issue, they don't know how to handle conflict resolution. They don't know. You can teach it at home, but it's with people you love. When you get into the real world, bro, and somebody's not responding properly or not dealing with you properly, like if I look at and maybe this is part of the single motherhood shit, but when I look at the young men today who get rejected or get broken up, they flip the fuck out because they were
That
never
has nothing
taught.
to do with the school system, though.
But the school system itself, no. The interaction with a multitude of other people is what I think it deals with,
But
right?
if the only time your child comes into contact with other children is within the confines of the school system, then that to me is problematic. If you can homeschooling your children does not mean isolating them from other children.
But that's the predominant thing that happens, right? They're not around other kids, short of a couple kids in the neighborhood, right? But like I've
No, I
got
mean parks. I mean, you have to be intentional. I'm saying that's
you have to do the extra work, and that's just
how's
most
that
of the
extra
people.
work though? How's that
You got
extra
to take
work?
your kids out the house, and I don't think most people that homeschooling is doing that. And
I'm
I'm
saying
doing this from my perspective. I have not researched it.
No, but
Right?
I'm saying children at school are not really that man, my daughter has the most problems at school.
100%.
Like,
Right, because it's different. It's
she
kids
has
of all
never
walks of
had
life.
any problems at the playground. The biggest issue she's ever had at the playground with just random children is, her feeling away because a group of children, maybe didn't want to play with her, or something like that. And that's my opportunity to teach her. It's a teachable opportunity, and I take advantage of all
Right,
of
right.
those. But I'm saying that her issues with children, her peers, happen on the bus and in school. In fact, when we do the conferencing, uh, everything is 100%. Children. I mean, teachers always, brag on my daughter in terms of, her being a leader. These are things that I instill in her from the house and before she gets on the bus. Being a leader, taking initiative, knowing how to avoid trouble. Right. The only issue they have is she just doesn't advocate for herself when it comes to conflicts with other peers.
Okay,
Um,
I can
and
roll
that's
with that.
and that's because we are people of peace. We don't imagine the world. We don't want to ruin her and prepare her uh, to expect conflict, right? So I try to teach it to her from a more natural space to, like, look, if you love yourself, if you are a whole person by yourself, then you don't depend on other people for anything, really, right? So it's no reason for you to, conflicts. Now, there is another component that may happen naturally, right? But I think that that's going to come down to how I nurture my household in terms of what the role of a man is, or what the role of a woman is.
Okay.
She has brothers, right? So it's like I don't want her to really fight anyone.
No,
Actually,
I like that you said that because I was talking to my son-in-law yesterday, and he was like, "Man, my daughter's named Lexi." He's like, "Lexi is too trusting, right?" And we raised her that way, right? But and I told him, I said, "It's your job to keep the untrustworthy people away, right? Because you're right. We didn't want to bombard her with the realities of the world,
hmm
right? Because you there's a delicate balance between me saying, here's the reality of the world that you live in, and it poisoning your belief system about people, right? Because you can meet a bunch of nice people, but there's definitely gonna be some shit people in that process of life.
hmm
But we were having that discussion. He was like, man, he's like, Lexi's too trusting. I have to be, I don't trust a lot of people. And that's kind of the man role. And that's what I told him. That's kind of
exactly.
your role, right?
That's fine.
Uh, right. And we raised her to be that way. Um, it's interesting, right? Because that's I don't want my daughter being tough and hardened and all that other shit, because that doesn't make for a good rest of your life.
I'm training my daughter to be a wife. That's what I'm trying to do.
A- And that makes sense. I know a lot of people hate to hear that, and I didn't want to say it, but that's the reality, right?
I have full intentions on, if I have the opportunity, I will make my daughter. I will, and I might not even do it. It may be discreetly. I don't, because
So that's interesting,
yeah, I have
right?
full intentions on it. If like, obviously, I'm not going to impede on her free will, right? So if
Right,
she,
right.
my goal is to help her understand the value of having
Okay,
healthy
I'm with that.
platonic relationships with both males and females, right? I don't want you to think that any boy that you are a friend with, that it has to be uh you know past the boundaries of intimacy. Like, you can have actual friends, and I want you to actually be around boys that, or young men who believe in real friendship. I want you to hang with. I
Okay,
understand the attractions, right?
okay. I was gonna say, but is that real though, right? Because
it,
because let
it's very real, because you know what the thing is. We did it. The only thing is, we didn't have adults involved enough in our lives to help us maintain that. So eventually, when you
it
don't do
became something else,
it, became something else, right? Because if
right?
we're doing the same thing over and over again, we're not. I want. What I want to do is coach my daughter and her peers into saying, "Hey, once y'all bond as friends, now it's about going to have experiences together. Because if you're
Right,
going
right,
out here and having experiences, then your mind is not going to do. It's going to be focused on that. But if your mind is idle, then you're going to pay attention to your urges and
right. Your
temptations, right?
natural,
That's
yeah, your
natural.
natural. I
And
think you're right, because that
and
was one
guess
of
what?
the
I,
big problems we
I
had.
would love for y'all to be friends first, and then down the line, some of y'all choose to be. Then that's awesome. That's what we supposed to
Right.
do, right? If we had
Yep.
did
Yep.
that, if we had spent, even people that we end up with, if we had spent more time being friends, we would probably have better. We Then the relationships that we say that we tell our children that every relationship has its problems. No, that's a reality that we create.
Right.
We
You know,
create
you
the
know, you,
problems in a relationship.
you said something interesting. I remember growing up, it was this young little chick. It was my guy's little sister, and everybody used to say like we were all cool, right? I didn't even look at her like that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all so friendly. That's gonna be your wife. I'm like, looking back at it, I'm thinking, damn, parents were trying to make a friendship into something more. We were little kids,
They
bro,
were
10,
spoiled
12,
with it.
11.
Yeah.
That little range. And I'm like, and looking at it, that was, and I'm gonna keep it all the way real. We tried some sexual shit,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
it was always almost always pushed on us. Y'all be great husband and wife, and I'm just like that was looking back at it, that was weird,
It's called perversion. We pervert our children.
no doubt,
That's
no
what
doubt.
we do. What they should have done is nurtured y'all as friends and told y'all the
And we were
whole
already friends, right?
right, like
That was the
nurtured
normal
it,
part.
right? Like nurtured it. Like y'all can go out on dates as friends. You know what I mean? Like you
I mean, we
can,
were too young. Shit, we was even too young for that. To keep it all the way real,
but
right? Like we were young, young.
I think we still need to be showing our young boys and girls how to interact with each other as men and women. Like it's okay for me to, as a young boy, to practice chivalry with my female friends.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's
I think it's lost today, bro. I'm gonna be real.
it is lost. I'm just saying that, but some of us know better. So I'm saying that we should do that. That's part of what I want to do before I leave here. I want to, I want to mentor a group of boys and girls as friends. I want to basically come in and be a part of their upbringing, but from a more traditional standpoint. Um, just give them the tools that I wish someone had gave to me, and what they do with them, that's what they do with them.
all you can do is arm them with the information and let them work
Yeah.
it themselves.
But like I said, I have full. And if my sons would allow me, I would help. I would make them.
I mean, it's the right thing to do. I tell you what. I know we live, but I want to take about a 1 minute break real quick.
Yeah.
I need to make a quick adjustment. I'm gonna keep it live. I'm gonna keep live going, but I'm gonna drop my camera for a second. You need to do anything? You need to get another drink, hit the bathroom, anything, bro?
No, I'm good. I'm good
Give
for that.
me 45 seconds.
Yeah, do your thing.
Today's my daughter's official due date. I just wanted to check on her real quick. You know what I'm saying? Make sure nobody have no babies on me while I'm on this motherfucking podcast. But
Yeah.
so let's switch subjects a little bit. So we had a couple other topics I wanted to I want to get your opinion on, right? Passport bros, right? Men traveling overseas, essentially, in my opinion, for sex, right? It's and I say that because to me, if you're going to immerse yourself in a different culture, you need to immerse yourself in a different culture. To jump on a flight, go to Thailand or Philippines or some shit, and just be the same American motherfucker you always been, just over there with money, is not the same, right? So me and one of my guys kind of go round and round about the whole passport bro shit. I support it. Let me lay this out. I support expats, expatriatism, expatriates, people who expatriate themselves from the United States. They want to live in another country and learn the culture, speak the language, marry, whatever. But I think a lot of brothers today And I say brothers, as we, so-called black focus. This is my guy. I like to say, um, they're trying to find women that they cannot find in the U.S. Again, I respect that situation, but a lot of cats are going to Colombia and going Philippines, Thailand, where you land in, bro, and you landed in essentially on the track, for lack of better term, right? And I think it's misguided, right? Like I said, I go around and around with one of my guys. I'm like, I fully support finding you a wife from another country because we do lack traditional women here. And what I mean by traditional is there's a high probability if you were a single young man with no children, you're probably gonna end up with a woman that got kids. I mean, the math is just it's what it is.
or a whole bunch of bodies.
So that's the other side of it, right? If she don't have kids, she probably got a whole bunch of angel babies. You know what I'm saying? For lack of better terms,
Yeah,
she done been through some shit.
yeah.
So I understand the desire, but where I struggle is, and I'm not trying to dick police anybody, right? You do what you want to do with your, you know what I'm saying, your situation. But when I see these cats, and I'm in again for the purpose of the podcast, I jumped in groups of all sorts, passport bros, all, and what I see most of is dudes who who couldn't make it work here, jumped overseas, had some money, and it don't take a lot to have money overseas, right? If you make $40,000 a year, U.S. dollars, you balling in the Philippines, you balling in Thailand, you balling in Colombia, right? You balling in multiple places. Um, but they don't go to Dubai, they don't go to Spain, they don't go to places where the U.S. dollar don't stretch, right? And that's what I try to explain to them. I'm like, bro, if you were to lose your job in whatever country you in, would the woman still look at you? If she wouldn't, it's not about you. And a lot of as a father, right? I think a lot of fathers in these foreign countries are like, my daughter can essentially be rich with this man. I'm okay with that because it's going to give her a better life, and hopefully, what I'm saying, her kids can prosper, this, that, and the other. But in all reality, I look at it and I'm like, man, I think these dudes are setting themselves up for failure, right? For two reasons. I'm in the tech industry. This remote work shit is about to die, right? Between AI and companies bringing people back because they got these high ass real estate costs, right? You got a building you paying, I don't know, 20, 30, 40,000 a month or 200,000, whatever the size of the building is, you want people in it, right? Or there's some large corporations like, hey, you can work remote, but 2 days a week we need you in the office. That's impossible if you live overseas. I think a lot of these dudes are again, I think prostitution should be legal. Let me clarify that. I think it should be regulated and legal. I don't knock anybody for buying sex. We will literally sell our whole entire back working in a factory. But I think these dudes are misunderstanding temporary bliss for love and affection. And again, I go round and around with one of my guys. He's like, you don't get to define what love is for somebody else. I'm like, I don't, 100%. But bro, if you lost that money, she ain't gonna love you. Well, if you lose your money in the US, the chick ain't gonna love you either. But if you got the right chick and you fall on your ass, she should hold you down until you get back on your feet. Right? That's to me, that's a relationship. If the chick ain't gonna hold you down, right, for better or for worse, right? If a chick ain't holding you down, and I'm not saying, bro, you lose your job and you out for 2, 3, 6, 6 years, just bullshitting.
Yeah, but I mean that's the idea. But
It's the idea at a bare minimum. But I'm
yeah,
not leaving the country to find out that I didn't work over there either. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'll be the first to say it. And I always say, if my wife get abducted by aliens, that's the only way I'm doing this shit. I wouldn't fuck with a chick natural born in the U.S. I wouldn't, because the characteristics I need in my woman and my wife is too hard to find. But I'm also realistic. If I was going to do something of that nature, I'm going to immerse myself in the culture, meaning I'm going to learn that language, whatever that language is. I'm going to participate in the local traditions of that place. I'm not going to bring America to wherever the fuck I'm at, right? Because that's what I'm trying to get away from. And I think we just outsource America, bro. But I want to get your thoughts.
it's like I said before. I think that we just find a way to fuck everything up. That's just. I mean, we can't get around. We can't get around. That's just what we do. Um, so with that being said, I just don't think that. I think that it's a group of people that made that a thing on social media. That's the power of media. They start calling it, passport bros, and then you ushered in a group of people who are already perverts,
Right, right.
and that's just what they gonna exploit that. But people been doing that before it's passport.
100%.
people been doing that for years and been living,
hundred
quality
percent.
lives. And so the idea, conceptually, I'm okay with. But when you make it a thing, it becomes perverted. You know what I mean? Like is just like social media. Social media was initially founded on the premise of just being able to meet new people across the world and maintain build and maintain new relationships, right, and network. And it just became this really perverted place of like who would not only do these really perverted things and record them, but then you would post it for the world to see just for
Man,
attention. I mean, it's just I don't know, man.
I know. So that what I struggle with too. When I look and I see the shit that's posted, I'm like, what went through your head, right? I think we mistake likes for money. We treat likes like currency, right? We will degrade the shit out of. And I'm not saying
But
black
it
folks.
is
I'm just saying
currency.
people in general.
It is currency for this one. Attention is currency for
But you
people.
can't do shit with it, right? To me, currency is something you can take in exchange for something else,
But
right? An
they
equal
trick you in.
value,
But they trick you into how. Okay, you're speaking from a place of just pure logic, right? And
right?
but I'm saying that you can't convince a people that it's not real currency when they pay you pennies on the dollar to be able to, you know, really, and you really just working for them. You really
100%,
on the plantation. You just don't even realize,
100%.
right? And so it's just like streaming. You know what I mean? They've just be because they'll send you a fake made up AI computer generated plaque that says you've got this many screens, this many listeners, and all this.
Right, right,
And it's like, but they're paying you 0.003% of a penny, right? And it's just like, and we've accepted it. We lowered the value of art just through accepting less than what we were willingly going to pay 16 to 20 bucks for a CD because we value the art. We value the work
right, right.
into the art. But the moment we said we got greedy, turned into to media perverts, I want to be able to have, I can access whatever I want to access at any time. Then you became a pervert. You know what I mean? And so
You're
you
right because I remember I said something recently. I'm like, man, Facebook started paying people or giving the opportunity to make money because I'm not gonna say paying. You still gotta earn it. Everybody started posting public. The disadvantage of public posting is that shit is scraped for data, all kind of shit. Like, and you're embarrassing yourself for, like you said, pennies on a dollar. I got a homie who we'll call him TikTok famous, right? Like, bro gets millions of views. He was like, bro, I got a check for $11. I'm like, God damn, right? Like $11, all that shit you be doing. Now he don't go all out, but the views and all other shit. I'm like, that's he said, man, you don't make shit, right? But everybody is pushing the shit. So that's crazy. All right, one more subject change. We'll ride this one out and then we'll shut it down. A real man steps up, right? I've heard that a lot, right? In regards to a man becoming a stepfather, and me personally, I struggle with it, right? I struggle with the concept of a man stepping up, so called a real man steps up, because the chick that's saying that shit didn't pick a real man to start with. She picked whoever the fuck she picked. He didn't do his job, and now it's almost like a pressure, right? If enough people say it, dudes will be like, okay, well, should I want to be a real man? I'm gonna step up. But as a man who raises kids, I feel like it's disrespectful to a motherfucker who stayed and did the right shit. What's your thoughts on that one, man?
I would agree with your sentiments for the most part. No, probably 100%. We just come from different perspectives. We have different experiences. But for me, um, like, no. First of all, a woman can't tell me what a real man is anyway.
100%.
That's that. Now, I was forced into the idea that it's that you should when you meet a woman and you interested in her, she has kids, they come as a package deal, right? You're just supposed to do that, right? And you're not supposed to consider that they have children as in terms of like whether or not you want to date them or be involved with them. um, that to me is backwards thinking. I think that you absolutely should consider every aspect of anybody that you get involved with.
Right, right.
And understand that one, if you get involved, especially when it comes to children, if you get involved with someone who has children, that means you will never get the best version of them until their obligation to that child is fulfilled. And at which point it likely won't even be worth it to you, right? You'll still be on the back end of that. So why should you um, give the best version of you to that individual when you really are taking on a liability that there's not it's not nothing that you created. So
So,
hey,
so let me ask you something, because this is something I was just talking to my wife about, and the shit drives me crazy, bro. Dudes or chicks come into a relationship with stepkids. What I mean by that is they are no longer with the chick that they with, or the dude they were with that actually is the biological parents. I have homies who are like, "Oh, this is my son no matter what." You broke up with the kid mom. You're a stepdad. You broke up with the kid mom. You got a new relationship, but you still treat the kid as yours.
it's too much.
Right? How many step parents can a motherfucker have before it's a problem?
Nah.
Like, that's
um
weird as shit to me, right? Because if I'm dating, again, I've never been in a situation, so I'm gonna give you my hypothetical. If I'm dating a chick and she has one kid, but she's like, well, my ex's kid I treat like mine, and he comes over, I take care. Bro, I can't do it
nah.
because there's no relations,
Right.
right?
So, hey, I'm speaking from experience, right? I've lived it, and I still live it to a certain extent, right? But if hypothetically speaking, if I was no longer in a relationship with the mother of my children, um, I would still maintain whatever love that I gained for her previous children. I would maintain that because if that's just I'm a genuine person.
Right, right.
But I would, and I would not make myself just totally disappear. Like, like I would not reject the children in terms of,
Okay.
if they reached out to me, right? But I would no longer be intentional about serving them. That is no longer my obligation.
So
That
that's where I get confused, bro, because people do that shit. I got a homie, right? Because I'm about to have a grandkid. I got a homie say, "Oh man, it's the best thing ever happened to you, bro." You don't have any real kids, right? You're single,
that's what I'm saying.
right?
That's
How do you claim grandkids? But bro, listen, no disrespect to him, dude's a great motherfucking dude. Those kids are blessed to have that dude in his life, right? To have, what I'm saying, those kids are blessed to have him in their lives, right? 100%. Dude he's above and beyond.
yeah.
But I look at this shit and I'm like, you have no real children, which means you have no real grandchildren. And any chick you deal with has to deal with you calling these kids your grandkids. I don't get the shit, bro. I don't get it. Like, again, my life situation is different, and maybe I'm looking at it through jaded eyes. But I'm like, at what point is it too many step kids? Bro, I go through this with a family member. I'm like, bro, them kids were never yours. Right? He's like, oh man, well shit, it was like mine. They called me their other dad. I'm like, but they not. Like, you're not with that chick no more. Right? How, like, I couldn't, and maybe I'm just looking at the shit weird, but I couldn't look at my girl like, hey, these kids, it's not mine. I treat them like mine, so I'm gonna take out of this house to make sure they okay too if they ever call me and need it. Like, that shit is weird as fuck to me.
And most women, if they were being honest with themselves, they
They ain't
wouldn't
going for that shit.
go with that, right? It's only what's convenient for them. So but me, I'm like it is what it is type of person. I like if you try to reverse that, it's like um, if say imagine if you with a woman and she has children and or previous children, and
Mhm.
then but the father, of those children have other children, then of course, like she would welcome those children, what I mean, as far as her being her children's siblings, right?
Right, right.
But if you reverse that, if I came, if I'm dealing with her and I got my ex whose children, or like his children, my children with her has other siblings, and I'm a father. I'm like a father to them too. Like I doubt that she would be receptive to that.
But what's crazy, because dude, like, bro, a chick. Okay, again, I'm not in the situation, but if I'm with a chick and some dude show up who's not the kid's father, I'm not, bro. To me, you have no business being here. right? I can't roll with that.
Yeah, as a man, but we live in a society like when you say mediocre men, that's what we're talking about.
And that's the other thing, right? Like, why are we so okay with mediocrity, right? Like mediocre men it's just a standard.
Because it's comfortable.
And see, that's where I struggle, bro, because you're right. I think a lot of dudes are comfortable with just surviving. But are they really like I think to myself, like, man, that shit's not real on the backside. Like in the back of your mind, you don't like this shit. Right? Some dude come into your house where you pay bills telling you what to do with the kids you are taking care of. Right? Like
Hey,
that's unacceptable to me.
it's easy to be comfortable in your mind though.
I mean, that's where you live, right? I mean, mentally, right? That's where you live, right? You live in your head, right? That's the toughest place you ever gonna fucking be because you got to
Yeah,
deal with them thoughts.
you can be insecure with yourself, but you know if it's about 9 times out of 10, it's about what the world, you know how the world responds to what's going on with whatever you project, and if you're not projecting your reality, then the world is they're ignorant to it, and so you can be comfortable in your mind because your external experiences are comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Now I think it's gonna catch up with you, but I'm just saying
Absolutely.
that. But that's why we get people that are on a lot of drugs and alcohol and things like that because it's escapism in your mind because your reality, you running from your conscious. But for me, that's just never been my. I'm a it is what it is type of person, and I'm not. That's not. It's just the same concept of people trying to convince each other that they can love, uh, you know, a child like it's their own.
Bro,
Absolutely not.
that one, so listen, that's one I absolutely I get mad at people. It is always a woman that's telling me, "Oh, I can love a kid like mine." I'm like, "Ain't no fucking way." Right? I've watched my wife carry my children in her belly. I've watched now my daughter carry a child in her belly. I can see the way she acts. There will never be another kid that she can look at the same way, short of being hers that she carried the same way, right? And every time I see a woman say that, it's because it's their kid that the other person has to look at as their own. So I hit them with a real life scenario, right? I'm like, if there's a fire and you could save one kid, one is yours biologically, one is not. Equal chances who you saving, right? And they always be, well, why you got to be hypothetical? Because reality, that might be a fucking choice one day. I'm going to listen. If it's a 2% chance to save mine and a 98% chance to save somebody else's, I'm still going for mine.
That's I was just going to say. I'm like you. I was going to say I can do you one better. If they went to the if it's a burning house and they renting a house and the child that's not theirs is right there, and the child that is theirs is a little further ways back there, maybe
We're
just
going to get them.
you're going to get your
We're
body.
going to try
You're going to think to yourself, "I get you on the way out."
100%. You
That's
know, and not to dwell on that and get too deep. I unfortunately I have a friend who she lost children, a child in the fire. And bro, when I look at the picture she posts, she was burned the fuck up trying to save her child. There is no, you know, th- there is no limit to what you will do for your own. And when we pretend, like, I get mad at women who say, "Well, I can love another child like it was my own." I can't see that. I never carried a baby in me, and I can't do it. I'm incapable of it. I'm not even gonna pretend or I'm gonna lie to you.
Don't want
My
to
child means way more to me than anybody else's, right? Um,
because it's your seed.
it's your seed,
That's the
right? How
reality.
do I look at a kid, or worse, look at my kid's mom, and say, "Well, I had an opportunity to save both, but I chose the one that was easier." Right? Like that's crazy to me. But that I mean that's the reality. Like we are. I think society teaches us to believe that bullshit that we can love somebody else the same way we love our. First off,
Society nurtures broken family syndrome. That's just what.
I mean let's be real, right? Sure, if I meet a chick and her kids are 12, I've loved my kids for say 12 years. I'm gonna magically love yours the same way in a shorter amount of time. Ones that ain't mine, right? That this shit's insanity, bro.
I'm an adult who believes in protecting all children, right? So I love all children in that way,
No
but
doubt.
it's the same reason why we don't just pass each other's kids around and raise them.
I mean, let's keep it real. If it's no different than being with if I'm with my wife in a building full of people and some wild shit happen, I'm protecting my wife. No matter, my wife could be on the other side of the fucking store. I'm going to get her, right? Because it's America and people do wild shit like start shooting in random places. If I'm in, I'll give you a real life example. We were in Lowe's. This is I don't know 5 6 months ago, right? I hear somebody yelling. I don't know. I think they're joking, whatever. But I realize this motherfucker's not joking. He's yelling and screaming and cussing. I go find my wife. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not sure what dude's about to do. My heat's in the car, unfortunately. We gotta go. Right. And the lady at the front, she's like, oh no, it's okay. He's just I'm like, listen, my wife's in here. I told her flat out, no disrespect. I don't care how you feel. Right. If he does something to you, that's you. My responsibility is her. I'm taking her up out of here. If I was here by myself, I would have kept shopping. Right. Just dealt with dude, whoever, man. But reality is I'm going to protect those that I love over everybody else.
And you know what's crazy? The same women who want to live up under that facade of, loving their children like you would love your own, would expect you to prioritize them over probably your mother or your
Hmm.
sister in that situation, because they're your wife, your responsibility.
100%.
And I would understand that, right?
Right. And I agree with him.
Right. So I'm saying, like, that's because that's what I signed up for.
Right.
Right. Like I'm saying, like, it's just natural. Like, of course, I'm going to protect as many people as I can protect, but my priority is my wife and my children. That is my
100%.
priority. That's what we stand on. If that ain't it, then what are we talking about?
And we doing a whole lot of nothing for a whole lot of something for nothing, right? And I explained that to my son. I said, the moment you ask this woman, my daughter, to become your wife, she has to be the most important person in your life, right? And I don't think people realize that. Like when I got married a long ass time ago, and my brothers, so one particular, he didn't understand. I mean, you choosing your girl, you choosing your wife over her. No, I made her my wife. She didn't ask to be. I asked her to be. She always will come first, right? That's the reality of the situation. I create. What I tell people is that the people I created my wife, I created my children. They're always going to come first and before the people who created me and the people who were created others who are related to me. But I think a lot of us don't, and I think that's a part of the culture. Mom's always supposed to be number one, right? I think we have this belief, right? And it took me a while. One of my guys said something to me that was super fucked up. I didn't think about it. He said, man, we are the only culture that actually takes care of our parents, right? They're supposed to take care of us. When we get money, we buy houses for parents, we buy cars for parents. And I'm not knocking it, but that's our culture only. Every other culture, the parents are you dedicate your life to your kids. You don't ask them for shit, right? You have your shit together for the most part. Um,
So what about like, I know in the Asian culture for sure that their elders like move in with them.
they'll move back in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a difference between moving back in and providing a life for 'em,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They've dedicated their life to you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and now you're returning the favor,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But
No,
I
I agree. I told my son was pursuing um, football professionally. I made it clear to him that, hey, you don't owe me anything, me or your mother.
right,
I can tell you what to do with whatever you achieve. As far as riches or whatnot. But I'm good already. You know what I mean?
right, I'm gravy,
I'm like, now if you want to invest together, you know what I mean, like, or if it's an investment, that's different. But you don't owe us anything.
you don't
Like,
gotta buy me a house, you gotta buy me a car. That's not your responsibility,
I mean, because you're not living for me. You know what
right?
I mean? Like, you living for the family that you want to create. So but hey, man, like I said, that's our problem culturally. Broken family syndrome. That's what it comes down to.
You know, and I know we up against the clock here, so I won't go do too deep in it, but it's kind of sad, bro, that that we I have these discussions, right? And I like to pull data because I'm a data guy, but I have these discussions with individuals, single individuals in our culture. Like it when I say, hey, kids are better off in a two-parent loving home, immediately they go, well, just having two parents will make them better. Some parents are abusive, some parents. I'm like, why do y'all go there? Like, why is that the default, right? The de facto place you go. Like, we are the only culture, and I'm not bashing my culture because I love my people, but we are the only culture that literally advocates against two parent homes being the standard, right? And I think for a lot of us, it's because we didn't create that environment. So for like again, I don't have to live something to know it's the right thing, right? I know it makes sense to be fit and healthy and eat properly. And I don't do the shit, but I'm not gonna knock somebody who is. I'm gonna encourage it because that's the right shit. I understand the health risk that comes along with me overeating and overindulging and shit and taking too many sweets and eating too much sugar. I understand those risks. But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, Lizzo is ideal. She can be healthy. There
Right.
is no healthy large people. That literally your body is designed to not be that way. And again, I'm not sitting here pretending, bro. I'm overweight. My wife's overweight. I'm keeping it real. We understand the reality of what we're choosing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell somebody, oh, you healthy because it makes you feel good. Right, bro, I'm busting my ass in the gym and I'm busting my ass in this kitchen trying to get right. I'm not doing this shit because it's cool. I'm doing that shit because I'm getting older and shit starting to go wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But that's the reality. Anyway, man, I know we went a little longer than we normally do. So I greatly appreciate your time, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's again, barring any newborns and shit that pop in my life
For
come Sunday,
For
I
sure.
think we're just gonna start going live, bro, every week and just let it happen how it happened. You know what I'm saying? People,
I'm with it.
as we start to do this more often, motherfuckers will jump in and get involved in the comments and so forth. So, but I greatly appreciate your time tonight, man, for real,
Absolutely. It's a pleasure, man.
for sure.
All right.